Hi, this is Cliff Brake from Beck Systems. Today we're going to do a quick demo of the Simple IoT messaging capability. So the first thing we'll do is go to the Simple IoT project on GitHub and download the latest release for Linux 64-bit because that's what I'm running here. And go to the terminal. Okay, so inside this package, or this tarball we downloaded, there's pretty much just one binary. We run that. Defaults to port 8080. And if we go back to our browser, we'll open up that in our browser. Okay, so by default we have two nodes, our root device node and a user. So let's add a group. And let's add another user. Okay, and so now we have a user inside of a group, and the other thing we need to send out notifications is a messaging service. So let's add that. And I'll need to fill in my credentials here. Okay, now that we have these three things, we can send out a message to this group. And I'll turn on my phone. So now when we hit send, we should see something come in on the phone. Okay, it's a little hard to read, but it is there. And we can also message this user directly. So if we had more users in this group, we could add additional users. And if we would message this group, then all of these users would get notified. So the way this works is when we send out a message, it creates a notification. It looks for any users in this node and then creates a message to those users. It also sends the message up the tree, so that the message gets sent up the tree to the root node, and then any users of the root node would also get notified. And the reason for this is Simple IoT uses a tree data structure where the root node owns the group and the group owns all these nodes. So basically the idea is anything higher in the tree has visibility of nodes lower in the tree. So that allows us to do a lot of interesting things. We could also create additional groups. And this group could have its own list of users and even a different messaging service. So say we want to use a different Twilio phone number or even a different message service altogether, we could just simply put another one at this level. Now we can even add more structure to this if we want. We can create another, oops, I didn't want to do that. So if we create another group at this level, maybe we'll call these users. And let's say that Clara and Henry are users. We don't want them to see the messaging service node. So we can simply move those into the users group. So to move a node, you click the move in the source node, and you click paste in the destination node. So now Clara and Henry are part of the users group inside group 1. And basically when Clara logs in, all she will see is a users group because that's the node she's a member of. Whereas when Cliff logs in, he'll see group 1 and the users group as well, but he won't see the root node. So this allows us to hide things like this Twilio node from this group of users, but yet when we would message the users group, once again the data travels up the tree, it sees this Twilio service and sends the message out. So we can actually watch this data flow. If we switch back to the terminal, let's see, let's add another one. Okay, so we started the Simple IoT binary. There's also an option where we can log the NATS messages. So basically Simple IoT uses the NATS messaging system internally. You can also use it externally too. You can plug on other programs and they can see all this data with the proper authentication. So if we resend a message with this enabled, we can actually watch the data flow. So let's switch back to the browser. And let's send a message. Group 1. And if we send this, let's zoom this in just a little bit. And let me send that again just to so you can watch the flow in the terminal. So basically, you know, a notification got sent to this node at group 1. We found a user in group 1 named Cliff, and then we created a message to that user. And then as we traverse up the tree, we also found an admin user, and we created a message for that admin user. But because the admin user doesn't have a phone number entered, or there's no messaging service at that level, nothing really happens there. So it's kind of a no-op. So if we send a message at the user level, let's see, I will switch this here so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to send a message at the user's level. So if we go back to the terminal, I'm going to click send. We start out at the users group, we send a message, and it also finds the Cliff user and the admin user the same as before. So this feature is useful for messaging groups of people. It could be an organization at work. You know, if you want to send out a notification to a group of people, it could be a school organization or really any organization. This is useful as a standalone messaging service, and you know, it can bolt onto Twilio, which offers very cost-effective SMS messaging rates. In the next video, I'll show how we can actually write rules so that changes to Modbus IOs or any node really can also trigger SMS messages. But this is even useful as a standalone outside the scope of IoT, just for general messaging. So that's it. Hope that helps. And if you have any questions or ideas, feel free to head over to our community or GitHub site or wherever and let us know what you're doing. Thanks.